Hello again, everyone. It is your Black Knight. As you may be aware, it was announced that PC will be getting the next-gen GTA Online update on March 4th, 2025. And if I could, for a moment, break my arm patting myself on the back, on January 12th, 2024, I put out a video stating why I thought PC would not get this update. Now, while we are getting the update more than a year after that video came out, I was correct on some key points. One of my justifications was that the upgraded version of GTA Online did not exist as an actual update. It only existed as a new version of the game, which had to be purchased for new-gen consoles. There was no way to push an update to PC or old-gen consoles to have the same features. But, being an engineer by day, I had some thoughts on the structure of the whole thing. And really, all those things came with the next generation. I'm going to call them next gen instead of current gen. I hate the current gen thing. Yeah, they're the next, Those weren't releases. Those weren't updates. Am I correct? I mean, I think you had to buy the next gen versions to get that. So there may not be any code in place to say, well, this is the update file you sent. This may only happen with a fresh install. This turns out to be the case for PC. We're going to get an entire other version of GTA, and you'll have to migrate your character to the new version. Thankfully, we'll still be able to play the old version. This is important for a few reasons. One thing I predicted was that we would have to buy a new version of the game for PC, and this would split the player base. Especially when you do this, you're going to be put into a completely separate category of players. So if you want to go, say, racing, well, there'll be all three of you. Each side will lose. The people who don't upgrade will have fewer people to participate in the game with, and the people who upgrade will have fewer people, probably even fewer people to participate with. And so it would just destroy PC, basically. It'd be dead on both sides. I was wrong on the money aspect of it, as we're getting it for free, but I was correct on the split player base. People playing on old gen PC will not be able to play with people on new gen PC. Well, Black Knight, I hear you ask, why would that matter if the update is free? Everyone will just play the new version. Not so fast, my friend, and I mean that literally. The issue is this: the minimum system requirements are not the same for the two versions. Now, my system was built in March of 2015, and it absolutely crushed the old system requirements. I'm running an i7 4090K with 4 cores at 4 gigahertz. I've got an NVIDIA GT970 and 16 gig of RAM. Regular followers of my channel will know I just replaced the original mechanical hard drive with an SSD and put in new memory, new power supply, and fans, and prior to that replaced the thermal grease on the CPU heatsink. With the updates, and the SSD is particularly important, I still meet the minimum requirements. You need an SSD. At least I think so. From what I can find online, the GT970 still beats the suggested minimum requirements cards on the benchmarks, and the rest of the numbers look okay. But for instance, the old CPU requirements was a 2-core at 2.4 gigahertz, while the new minimum is something like 3.4 to 3.9 gigahertz, depending on which version of the 4770 you're looking at. The recommended i5 9600K is a 6-core chip at up to 4.6 gigahertz turbo. So if I go with the new version, will I be running at 30 frames per second or less on minimum graphics? The trade-off being I can have a few new cars that are a lot faster. Oh, and I can pay $8 a month for a 100-car garage. Don't get me wrong, if you have a Chef's Kiss PC, then you have the option for much better graphics with the new version. But the chef hasn't kissed my PC since the Obama administration. It doesn't meet the Windows 11 requirements, and I'll probably just pay for Windows 10 updates until I convert to Linux, but that's not today's problem. I'm going to have to try it out and see how it runs. If it's not as smooth an experience as the old version, there's not going to be any point to playing the new version. And even if my system, which I invested heavily in 10 years ago so I could play Star Citizen, which was an alpha back then too, even if my system can run the new version, a bunch of people are not going to be able to make the leap. And I don't know if you've seen the price of eggs lately, but we're not in the kind of economy that will allow people to buy new computers or upgrades at the drop of a hat. In my 2024 video, I said that we were probably better off not getting the update because of this problem, with splitting the PC player base. Hope I'm wrong on that point because it's coming. On that grim note, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Black Knight. Have a great night.